Thanks for joining me in the kitchen today. You know, for me, Christmas doesn't feel like Christmas if you don't have cabbage rolls at some point over the holidays. So I'm going to share a wonderful recipe with you here today. When it comes to making great cabbage rolls, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. It all comes down to the sauce. Today, I'm going to show you how I make my sauce for cabbage rolls. We're going to start by sauteing some onions and about a head of garlic. We'll saute these until the onions become translucent. Gonna add a pinch of salt. And now with the onions cooking down, I'm gonna add a couple tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce and a couple tablespoons of balsamic vinegar, a half a cup of brown sugar, and then I'll use either a can of diced tomatoes or crushed tomatoes. Today I'm putting in crushed tomatoes. And then finally, about 1 liter of tomato juice. Now you notice the consistency is fairly thin right now, but what I'm going to do is I'll get it simmering and I'm going to cook this down the same way as if you're making a really good tomato pasta sauce. We're going to boil this down, we're going to reduce it, bring out all those flavors, and these flavors are going to transmit into those cabbage rolls that we're going to put together. Now while our sauce is simmering down, and we're going to reduce it probably by about half before we put it in, we're going to start getting our cabbage ready. I prefer to use sour cabbage, which comes pre-wrapped in your grocery store. You can use fresh cabbage as well, that'll work just fine. You do have to boil it. This is a little bit faster, and what I find with the sour cabbage, don't let the name fool you. When you wrap it in these leaves, you're not gonna get any sour flavor to it. It's gonna cook and it's gonna develop all the other flavors of the ingredients that we put into. A nice thing about this is there's no cooking, peel the leaves off, they're ready to wrap and go. The first thing I do with the cabbage is I'm going to remove the core, so I'm just going to take a paring knife and cut around, and we'll pop the core right out of it. The next thing is to peel off the individual leaves, so you can just start to pull one off at a time. There's a ridge towards the stem of the cabbage. We're just going to remove the ridge. It's a little bit on the tougher side. And we'll just pull one leaf off at a time until we've completed removing all the leaves. And then we'll prepare the mixture that's going to go inside for the filling. Let's begin getting our filling ingredients ready by crispening a pound of bacon, cooking up a 1.5 cups of rice with only 2 cups of water, dicing up some onions, garlic, fresh parsley, and the bacon that we've rendered down. We'll also need 3 pounds of fresh lean ground beef. The sauce for the cabbage rolls continues to simmer. We're going to put together the stuffing right now. I'm going to add about 1 cup of fresh diced parsley, 2 diced onions, a whole head of garlic diced. So we're going to add the pound of bacon that I cooked down really crisp and broke into pieces. This is going to add a ton of flavor to the cabbage rolls. A pinch of salt, a pinch of pepper, a couple of eggs. We'll add in the rice I cooked earlier. This rice hasn't been cooked with all the moisture that you normally would. It will absorb moisture from everything that we've put into here, from the onions, from the garlic, and it's also going to pull in some of the moisture from the sauce that we're going to cook the cabbage rolls in. I'm going to get this combined really thoroughly, then I'm going to show you how I stuff the cabbage leaves. Stuffing cabbage rolls is pretty simple. Just a matter of taking a leaf, and the leaves come in all sizes, so at least in our house, we have all different sizes of cabbage rolls. So we're just going to take a cabbage leaf, squeeze a bit of meat into the center, turn the sides in, and then roll it, and we'll leave it with the flap facing down in the bottom of the dish. Well, isn't that a wonderful batch of cabbage rolls all ready to go? So really the next step is easy. We're going to take some of this wonderful sauce, we're going to line it on the bottom, we're going to layer in our cabbage rolls, put a little more sauce, another layer. I try and use the largest casserole dish that I have. If you got a cover for it, great, put a cover on. If not, some tin foil over the top works just as well. It's going to go in the oven at 325 degrees. For about 2 hours time, and it will be all ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and start to layer this all together. About 2 hours at 325 degrees. The cabin smells heavenly. Let's remove the tin foil here and let's have a look at how we made it. Boy, those are absolutely gorgeous. You know, depending on what our tradition is, we all have certain smells and foods that we associate with during the holidays. Cabbage rolls are one for me that I just love it. It really makes me think of earlier Christmases. And I was happy to share doing this with you here today. I'm gonna save these ones that I've made for during the Christmas holidays. So I'm just gonna put tin foil on once these cool down. This whole casserole dish is gonna go inside the freezer. I'll just pull it out the day before we're gonna have it, and I'll warm it up in the oven, and it is gonna taste really just as good as it would right now. These get better with time and the more often you reheat them. Thanks again for joining me in the kitchen. Enjoy your Christmas, stay safe, and I'll look forward to seeing you in 2022.